Hello and welcome to the New York Harbor Railroad's June 2012 construction update. At this point in time, we're starting to correct errors in the construction of the layout, mostly either prototype errors or basically errors with the actual bench work where it was not up to snuff. One of the areas that's always been a problem area is this section here of Nabisco. Basically, when it was constructed, it was too thin and it warped. So it's basically potato chip shape. So since I was not able to correct this using other methods, what I've decided to do is to replace it and make it more prototypic, make it straight on to what was there. So the new project on the High Line is to go from the New York Dress Poultry double crossover, because New York Dress Poultry was be here, cut the railroad all the way across the railroad down to St. John's Park. Now at St. John's Park, there's two other switches that come out and add 2 extra tracks here. So this siding actually starts back here, and this siding actually is over 1, and there's additional track in here. So this is 5 tracks. That's incorrect. We're getting rid of these 2 switches. We're moving the switch that was over here to start this siding to over here, and we're starting the siding in this area here. And where this siding originally starts over here, we moved it over 1 track and eliminated this track. So this is now 4 tracks, just like the prototype. And then we're going through, so this is Cudahy and this is Armour, and we're going straight through. This is going to be inside of one building. This is one city block, Armour being in here and Cudahy here on this side. And what's interesting, we're going to have an additional space in here, so we can do some more modeling. I'm planning to put meat racks in and have little cows hanging off on the hooks. And so it should be interesting. This is a reused crossover. Now the turnout to get into Cudahy, instead of being here on the non-removable section of the layout, is now going to be here in this removable section of the layout. And the double cross that used to be here will now be moved over 1. It'll serve the purpose of the approach to both Armour and the approach to both Nabisco and Merchants. So this is basically what was actually there. At this point in time, right here at this juncture, the railroad starts to dive on this track, and it dives on the prototype about 10 feet, which is about 1 inch. So we're going to have that start happening here. And this whole piece here is all removable. This is built. I'll show you that in a second. This section here is built also. It's getting the Homosode applied to it, and it's going to be painted, and then the tracks will be put on it and wired, and then the other section will be ripped out. This is a new double crossover, and then this again, this is Nabisco and Merchants. When I printed these out 1-to-1 and I laid them in the spot from basically right here, actually I already cut this one down, from right here to right here is 45 inches. It's too big, so this one's going to have to get moved and cut down a little bit more. So this will be affected slightly over here, but we'll worry about that when we get to that point. This double crossover is brand new. I got the materials to build it. It's unlike the other double crossovers on the layout. This is going to be controlled by tortoises. There's going to be 4 tortoises and a frog juicer to control all the power routing. That frog juicer will also control this switch and this switch here, so everything will be powered, unlike on the current version where everything in here was unpowered and it was an issue. This is the new removable section. It will completely lift out cleanly, and there won't be any track system to roll it up into the ceiling. And now therefore, to do that, there'll be a frog juicer here. These will be hand throws, so all these will be hand throws, and this will be powered by a frog juicer for all the frogs. And the connection for these will be powered by a project clip. So basically it'll clip and then it'll lock on all the power. So you get an idea what the railroad's going to look like at this point. Now, let me show you some of the physical plant that we built for it. Excuse me. Just finished working on this section here. The guys built it last night for me, and I just attached the first curve off of here. And this is the removable section, so you get an idea how big it is. The glue is still drying on it. And this is the wall section, and with the mating piece on that side. You see where the straight edge is over here? That is where Nabisco ends. It's going to pop out. So if you look at a prototype photograph of Nabisco or Chelsea Market, you see what I'm talking about. and I'll show you in the prototype in a second. I'm sorry, not on prototype, on the layout, what's being replaced. So hold on, and I'll move over to that section of layout. Okay, this is the area that I was talking about earlier. This turnout and this turnout are being taken out, and these are going to be replaced by straight pieces of track. This double crossover here is not going to be affected. This is basically the main lines. So this crossover here will be removed and put in here, and Cudahy will start and basically run the length of this little area over here. And this turnout here will basically move one track over to here, and then this will be armor. These siding, these platforms will be ripped out, and basically they're going to be parallel. They'll no longer be offset like they currently are, so they'll be more prototypic as to where the building is. So right here to right here, it's going to be all inside of a building. And when you're coming across the drop bridge right now, which is on rails, there's going to be right here a facade that's going to say Cudahy Packers, and then armor will be a lower building that will be right over here. So it'll have more room for the lower building. This is this piece that's being replaced right here. This double cross is moving to here. So that basically when you're coming on the main line, you'll be able to go into the new armor like this. And when you're coming back, you could go and feed Nabisco and merchants. So that'll give you that. This turnout is going to be moved to right about here. Actually right about here, so that both the armor and Cudahy, so this is armor and Cudahy, will be straight pieces of track on the benchwork over here, the permanent benchwork. So this section here will be replaced and be turned into a lift bridge. And this is going to be a frog juicer that will control this double crossover and this turnout once it's moved here. So these will be no longer physical contacts. I don't have to worry about people throwing switches. And these will be hand throws. So all these here will be hand throws. And that way, what's currently here, this large section that's here, with all the dangly bits underneath, will disappear. And it'll be a single frog juicer with wires going to it and power lines going across. This is where Nabisco is going to be. And this is one of those pieces I was telling you about. This is one of the ones that's going to be redesigned from this portion over to meet up with the new Nabisco and merchants. Now, this you see, let me step back a little bit and you see all the laundry detergent, but you see where this currently ends. If I leave it as planned, it'll end right about here, which will leave you a very tight space to get in and out, which defeats the purpose of having that lift bridge pulled in there. So this is going to be redesigned, so it'll be a little bit smaller than what I currently have drawn. So as you look down the line here, you'll notice that the benchwork flares out twice. And so basically, instead of flaring out, we're going to take a saw and cut it straight. And you can see where Swift is over here. This is Swift back there. That's all going to be relayed. It might be a little bit longer, I'm not sure about that. But basically, the Nabisco switch is right where that piece of plastic is on the rail there. That's where Nabisco is going to start. It's not going to be as long as it was before. And actually, once the building is built, instead of having this massive siding here, where I had 13, 14 cars sitting in there waiting to be used, emptied out, this siding is going to be pushed back to here. This siding here is going to be pushed back to here. It's going to be inside of a building, as is all this. And then only about 4 to 5 cars will be worked, so that'll require somebody to work it more often. One of the options, one of the nice things is I'm going to make that new Nabisco switch back over here. It's going to be tortoise. Now, as far as the switch that goes in here, these are going to be bigger. These are going to be. This is about 18 inches long. This is about 10 inches longer, and there's going to be a curved switch right about here. That's also going to be tortoise. This switch here is going to continue to be a hand throw. One to flick throw there, and that'll take care of that to get into Nabisco. So that's the plan currently, and it's constituted, and we're working on it. Hopefully we'll get everything built and done on a good schedule here. I'm looking to be operational in September, if not early, and if not for the October session. We have some really interesting projects that are going on. I'll just go over them really quick. These are Central Valley girders that just came out, and we're going to use these to build the Highline actual legs. I just finished decaling this Virginian car. It was a stock Accurel car that I put decals on. Walking around the layout, show you a little bit more stuff. The pile of cars that are over here, these cars are all past spec as far as being a proper way, couplers and all that. We have a couple of cars that are not, and you can see that big plastic plant back here. That is going to be the new brewery. I think I may have covered that earlier, but in another episode. But that's basically it. That's the plans here at the High Line and at the New York Harbor Railroad. I'll leave you again with the last shot here of the replacement section for the High Line. I hope you have a good day and hope you come back and see us soon. Bye bye.